Hello everybody, this is Andrew Prokowski checking in again from the fish room. Today's video is going to be about My Limia. I have 3 different species right now in the fish room. This one here is Limia species Tiger. It's actually undescribed. But to talk about Limia, they are an ovoviviparous livebearer from the family Poeciliidae. So not my typical goodeids, but still a cool fish nonetheless. Alright. Poeciliidae actually, it encompasses most of the livebearers people are typically familiar with outside of the goodeids. But Poeciliidae is actually a fairly large family. There's currently 21 species of Limia described, and about 80% of those are from a single island in the Caribbean, Hispaniola. Alright, and because you guys know I love the etymology, the genus name Limia actually comes from the Latin limus, meaning mud. And I've seen it referenced that it has to do with their feeding habits. Most of these fish in the genus will readily eat decaying plant matter. So my basic diet here is spirulina flake, and I do supplement with bug bites. When I talked with John Lyons, Dr. John Lyons, namesake for Xenotoca lyonsi, he had said that basically every herbivorous fish will take insects if given the opportunity. Over here, this is Limia tridens, also known as the Tiburon Limia. This is a considerably smaller fish than the Limia tigers we just looked at. As with most of the Limia, there is no courtship display. So the males will just kind of chase down the females and try to breed. Within the genus, there's really only a few fish that do have a courtship display, and I've read about it for Limia nigrofasciata, the humpback Limia, and Limia perugiae. The Tiburon Limia, this is another one of the 17 species of Limia that are actually described from the island of Hispaniola. So, like I'd mentioned, almost all of the species of Limia are from the same island. So it's a very cool fish. You can see there's a couple gravid females. I haven't really produced any fry yet. I have seen a few. The group is doing well, and the fish are all healthy. So it's really just a matter of time. See, there's the male's chasing down a female. Forced copulation. Common practice. They can't all be Casanovas, right? Alright, here we're looking at Limia species Tiger. I just threw in some food, so they're going a little bit crazy right now. This is an undescribed species from Lake Miragoane in Haiti. So it is really showing the genetic diversity of Limia on the island of Hispaniola. This is one of, I think there's actually 5 described species from that lake already. Originally, when these were found, they were believed to be a juvenile form of Limia nigrofasciata, which is pretty easy to see since the striping on them is pretty similar, although the males definitely do not develop that deep body. You can see, here's a mature male right here. They're pretty molly-like, I guess, in their appearance and behaviors, and have really had no issues with them predating on fry. You might have noticed this is a different tank that I've been keeping them in. I did move them to a smaller tank because I needed a bigger spot for my Aloaphorus robustus, which is the bulldog goodeiid. So, similar setup that I have for my other species of Limia. And these are basically the only tanks that I heat in the entire fish room. The only two goodeids that I use a heater for, Chrynictes bailey moape and Atniobius toweri, the blue-tail goodeiid. I got these fish from Greg Sage a few years ago now, and I have been bringing them to my fish club, the Chicago Livebearers Society, and I've given them to quite a few other fish friends. A very prolific and beautiful creature. So I hope I'm able to keep this line going for a long time. Limia species tiger. Undescribed. Again, not very dimorphic. The males, you can see the gonopodium. The females, just the fanned anal fin. But the overall coloration is pretty similar. It took close to a year for these to sex out for me, where I could even tell. Still super cool. Let's see what else is going on down here.
Alright, and this is the last of my Limia species. This is Limia vittata, also known as the Cuban Limia. One thing special I needed to note about this genus is that they do prefer warmer water, so I am heating all these tanks, typically to around 78. This is a species that I was actually struggling with for a little while because I wasn't keeping them warm enough, so I did lose a few. But thankfully they're doing much better. There's a baby down there swimming. With the Limia vittata, this is actually one of the larger of the Limia species. So we just looked at Limia tridens, which tops out around 1.5 inches for the females. Some of the females here have been reported as large as 4 inches. Which I think is incredible, but I haven't seen that yet. My fish are still fairly young.
Trying to get some nice close-ups of these. This is a female right here, so even the females have the coloration. I'm not 100% sure if this is wild type form, but this is typically what you see in the hobby, especially on younger fish. Still a really cool live bearer. But like I mentioned, not my typical fare. The Limia are still pretty incredible and definitely worth keeping if you can find space for them. I got these from my friend Pat Hartman. He had a beautiful tank of these going, and when I gave my presentation at the Chicago Livebearers Society, he very generously brought me some. Beautiful. Alright, so like I said, if you enjoy what I'm doing, hit like and subscribe. I'll be sure to post more updates in the future.